Drawing 1. The selfie project. Alright, so at this point you should have your selfie pictures drawn. We're looking for a line drawing and a value map drawn on white paper. Next step is to transfer your drawing using black chalk or white chalk depending on the color of paper that you were transferring to. Put a nice layer on the back, flip it over, and trace it onto the desired paper. Here I've got an image of my eyeball, and what we want to start out with is we want to find our gray, just our medium gray. Remember, this is going to be the paper, not the white area, not the black area, but the gray. Here's the good highlight area. Notice this bright white in the center there. There's some other areas along the bottom and the highlights that are bright white. Black areas, super dark. There's also some dark grays in there that we could also add. So again, I'm showing you the transfer process. This is just my line drawing that I'm putting on here onto this bogus paper. Put some charcoal on the back of it, and now I'm tracing over the front of the image, trying to transfer accurately and neatly. There it goes, looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the white. I want to put in the brightest whites that I can see first. So I'm looking at the reference image and I'm placing the brightest whites first. Notice the highlights in the white of the eye, the light marks, and then underneath the eye there. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to fade those highlights out to the paper. So I noticed that there's kind of a gray along the top edge of the white of the eye. I'm trying to fade this out, so I am easing the pressure off the pencil to form a light gray. It's not white, it's not dark, it's a light gray. I'm trying to fade the edges out. There's a little bit of a highlight down below here that kind of fades. The bottom eyelid. And we've got some on the upper eyelid here too, where I'm just kind of putting a light gray. It's not bright white, but it's lighter than gray. Next, I'm going to locate my blacks, and I'm going to put my solid blacks in first. So the pupil's dark. I've got this dark shadow on the right side here, and you can notice the shape that the eyelash sort of takes here, which is solid black. And I want to be able to fill that in. I'm going to put that in solid. There is an area where it's kind of fades to dark gray. Again, I'm pressing lightly with the black charcoal pencil to make it sort of a darker gray. It's not solid black. Emphasize some of those eyelash lines there. And work on the iris here. It's a little bit darker. And emphasize a little bit of the shadow. So we've got our highlights, which are white. We've got light gray. The gray is the paper. We've got solid black, and we've got dark gray. So the gray is the paper. Next, we'll try this nose here. Again, I've got the line drawing. I'm just going to go ahead and transfer it to the bogus paper. Again, accurate tracing. You're trying to stay on the lines that you drew. Voila. I'm going to place the picture and the transfer drawing side by side just to kind of show you the various grays, whites, and blacks. So when I'm looking at the whole nose first, I see most of the bottom of the nose is going to be my gray. So I know that I've got to leave that to paper. Everything else is either lighter or darker. Start with my white. There's a major white, bright white highlight that's right in the center of the bridge of the nose. So I'm going to press really hard and make that white. You can notice that it kind of fades around that highlight. There's no line around it, so I've got to fade it. I've got to use some shading here. I'm pressing a little bit lighter around the edges to fade that value from white to the paper. A little bit of a sort of a light gray on the left side of the bridge. Again, fading that to the paper. Remember, we are trying to get whites, light grays, blacks, and dark grays. The medium gray is the paper. Highlight on the side of the nostrils there is more of a light gray. It's not white, so I'm going to ease up my pressure on the pencil and fade that out a little bit. Close strokes, nice and smooth. You can cross hatch if you want. You can scrumble if you want. Again, we want nice clean application on here. So now I'm ready to move on to the blacks. Not yet. There's a little bit of a highlight down here, a little bit of a lighter gray. Now the black. I'm going to color in the solid blacks first, and then we will work on the darker grays after that. Right nostril, dark blacks first. Then we want to add a little bit of a sort of a dark gray shadow, so I'm easing up the pressure on the pencil. Maybe a little bit along the bridge here, just to help that pop out a little bit. You're going to want to clean your drawings up with an eraser. Try to get rid of all the transfer marks, and you should be good to go. So once again, you want to make sure that you're focusing on what the gray is, leaving that the paper, doing the white highlights, light grays, dark shadows, dark grays. Choose the paper that you want to transfer to and complete your drawing in the style and fashion that I showed you. Good luck.